how can we communicate more effectively? The key to communicating more effectively is preparation. Like most other skills, communication requires time, energy, and practice. The more time that you spend preparing your message, the better you will be able to persuade your audience. OB research suggests a few things managers can do to communicate more effectively with their employees. Know their audience, enhance the persuasiveness and stickiness of their messages, and choose the right communication channels. It's also important that they plan their delivery and use active listening. Let's cover each of these in more detail. Start by analyzing your audience. Many of the other suggestions depend on your audience's needs and interests. In general, your audience is more likely to be persuaded by messages that focus on their interests, not your own. Thus, you want to know what they care about and what they are hoping to get from your message. Once you've identified what's important to them, make sure your message focuses on it at all times. Once you understand your audience, you can begin to craft a persuasive message. You want to incorporate the following 3 elements in your message: credibility, logic, and emotion. Your credibility comes from your authority, expertise, or likability. When evidence is presented by a qualified source, the audience is more likely to be persuaded. Establish a connection with your audience by sharing some information about yourself and identifying how you are similar to them. Establish your authority or expertise by explaining why you are qualified to deliver the message. Be honest and transparent. Your audience wants to know that you can be trusted. To appeal to people's logic, use facts, statistics, theory, and other evidence. Managers often make a business case for an idea using financial data. You might include information about proposed costs and benefits, as well as information about markets and competition. Arrange the main points of your message in a logical sequence. Make it easier for your audience to follow along. The key is to search for and choose data that is valid, reliable, and relevant to your audience. To appeal to emotion and bring your message to life, you can use stories, examples, personal testimonies, and visual aids. Share vivid, concrete details and keep it simple. Visual aids, when properly utilized, can help your audience remember the main points and stay focused. To use visual aids appropriately, stimulate multiple senses by including both words and pictures. Let the content of your message determine what visuals you include. Again, keep it simple and avoid cognitive overload by including a few points per slide. In addition to the persuasiveness of our message, we also need to consider the stickiness of our message. We can enhance stickiness in many ways. Let's focus on 2 strategies. Keep it simple by identifying and reiterating the number 1 most important idea of your message. And be creative in how you articulate and deliver your message. It sometimes helps for us to be unpredictable and do something unexpected to catch and maintain our audience's attention. Fourth, we want to make sure that we select the right communication channel. To do this, there are a few things for us to consider about our message: richness, complexity, appropriateness, and cultural norms. Information richness is the channel's capacity to carry detailed information. For example, face-to-face communication is considered to be higher in information richness than telephone and email. When we communicate with people face-to-face, we can observe nonverbal cues, get immediate feedback about the effectiveness of our message, and even clarify if needed. Channels also vary in their ability to carry complex messages. Low complexity means the message is a routine one and few people are directly involved. Low complexity calls for low richness channels. For instance, you may use social media to share regular updates about your company's products, or you may use newsletters to share new information about employee benefits. High complexity means the message is not routine and involves quite a few people. High complexity calls for high richness channels. Face-to-face conversations are one of the best ways to help people do this. We should also consider the appropriateness of using a particular channel to send a particular message. For instance, some information, such as ideas between two geographically distant individuals, is best shared through moderate to high richness channels, like the telephone, while other information, such as changes to a planned meeting, can be shared through low richness channels, such as text message and email. Each culture embodies its own expectations and norms regarding the appropriateness of communication channels. For example, some cultures encourage you to apply for employment online, while other cultures prefer a face-to-face conversation about an open role. Once we've drafted our message, we'll want to start preparing our delivery. The quality of our delivery can impact our credibility, particularly when the audience doesn't know us very well. The most important thing to remember is to relax and be ourselves. Share your enthusiasm for the topic. It can be contagious and inspire your audience to act. Speak loudly and clearly, and take care not to go too fast. Maintain eye contact, if it's culturally appropriate, and a confident posture. In addition, we'll want to identify some of the questions our audience may have and prepare our answers. A major component of communication is active listening. When someone sends a message, the recipient must listen to it to understand it. It seems easy enough, but we aren't very good at it. Managers who actively listen to their employees and customers are able to learn from them and solve problems in new ways. So what can managers do to listen more actively? Pay attention and stay focused on the conversation at hand. Sometimes this means holding your tongue and letting the speaker speak. Determine whether the sender expects you to empathize, analyze, or synthesize information. We have a tendency to advise others, but make sure that's what the sender expects of you before you start dishing out advice. Understand the sender's perspective, including his motivations and expectations, the situational and cultural norms in effect. Show support and acceptance for the sender's feelings. And paraphrase the sender's message and ask insightful questions to clarify your understanding of the message. Managers can use these strategies to communicate more effectively with others.